Got a dead 12 volt in your Hyundai, Kia, or Genesis EV? In today's video, I'm going to show you the proper technique for replacing this, as well as how to install a Bluetooth battery monitor so you can keep tabs on it. This couldn't be an easier fix. All you need is a 12mm and a 10mm socket. So let's jump in and get this replaced. So first things first, open your front trunk, pull this panel off just like that, and then your 12 volt battery is exposed. Now, if you watch other videos on YouTube, for some reason, they got the idea that you need to go into this cover here, and then there is a little tab here to disconnect the high voltage battery from the rest of the car. You do not have to do that. Hyundai's own tech manual for the technicians at the service centers does not say to do that. So starting on the negative side, we got our 10mm socket, and we're just going to loosen that until it's free and wiggles a little bit. Then just lift straight up, and we're going to tuck it back here so it doesn't make contact with the terminal again, and it's out of the way. Now, same thing with the positive terminal, but there's a little cover here. Just squeeze that, flip it up, and then the bolt is right there. You don't disconnect that bolt, so we'll go ahead and loosen that up. Once that's loose, just pull straight up, close that cover, and then just tuck it over here to get it out of the way. The next and really last thing is this 12mm bolt down here, which clamps the battery into the battery tray. So we're just going to go ahead and take that off. Now, I don't have my good set of sockets with me, so I'm using this stupid fixed in place socket wrench, and I already kind of pre-loosened this bolt, but you're likely going to have to go like this, or you could put a couple extensions in line so that you can get the wrench out like this so you can better twist it. But I don't have a bunch of extensions with me, so we're just going to do it this way. Take the bolt out and then pull the clamp off, and that's pretty much it. So this is obviously already an aftermarket battery. So your OEM battery that came with the car is going to look a little bit different, but basically it has a handle. You can pull it and lift it straight out, and then that exposes your entire battery tray. Now would be a good time if you have a bunch of debris in here, sand or whatever, you can get a vacuum in there and just suck it all out. Mine's pretty clean, so I'm not too concerned with it. Let's talk about this battery though. This is an EverStart Platinum AGM battery, which is different than the one that came with my 2025 Ioniq 5. All Ioniq 5, Ioniq 6, EV6, EV9, GV60, electrified GV70, electrified G80, they all came with sealed lead-acid batteries from the factory. Now, starting in 2026, Hyundai started putting AGM, or absorbent glass mat batteries, into the Ioniq 5. I'm sure all the other cars are going to follow. But that is a better technology for cars like this that have all sorts of subsystems that are always running, putting strain on the 12 volt. They allow deeper discharge. I've had this guy in for a few months now. Pretty sure the reason my 12 volt battery went dead was when I had large battery pack issues and my car was at the dealership for multiple weeks. Pretty sure they left the car just in a poor state. They didn't have a battery tender on my 12 volt, so it eventually killed my 12 volt battery. So instead of dealing with the dealership anymore, I went out, got an AGM. I think it's a good investment. This is about $200, $220, depending on if it's on sale or not. But this is from Walmart. It has a good warranty, so I would highly recommend the EverStart Platinum if you need a new battery. So now we're going to take the 12 volt, pop it back in, make sure that your terminals are on the left. Then you're just going to tuck it up against the back as far as it will go. There you can see the holes mostly aligning. I'm just going to get the bolt in there. Just get the thread started. Now, it might help you to wiggle the battery around a little bit to get the bolt to seat properly. The last thing you want to do is cross-thread this bolt because it's going to make replacing the battery in the future really challenging, so definitely don't do that. You can basically finger tighten it all the way down, and then just take your wrench, and then you can apply some torque to get it down the rest of the way. Again, if you have a regular socket wrench, this will be a lot easier because I can't rotate this very much at all. But you definitely want to make sure this is clamped down really well. Considering how heavy these batteries are, you don't want them jumping around while you're driving. So that's good right there. All right, so now we will get the battery reconnected. So we have our positive terminal over here. Open the cover, stick that on. Now, if you want to install a 12-volt battery monitor at this point, now you can do so. So here is where I would attach the positive lead from the Ansel BM200. So with your 12-volt battery monitor, the red goes to positive, and what I found is that you can slip it right under this nut right here really easily, but to do that, you have to first loosen the nut a little bit more. So once you have that a little more loose, then you can take that red, slip it underneath there, and then just tighten that down. You want that to be pretty snug. And this is low profile enough that you can mostly latch this cover on the positive terminal. It's not fully closed, but it's good enough. I wouldn't be overly concerned with it. On the back of the battery monitor, there's some adhesive tape. I've already used it here, but then you can just use that to stick it to the side of your 12-volt battery, so it's not rattling around or anything. But now we're going to go in the back. Be careful not to make contact with anything. And then we're going to take the negative lead. Make sure you have your key fob handy just in case the car alarm goes off when you make a connection again. I've had that happen in the past, so just make sure you're ready to hit the lock button. Okay, nothing there. Did get a little bit of puff of smoke. That's to be expected when you make that connection. Now again, if you want to install the 12-volt battery monitor, here's where you would attach the negative lead, which I'm going to do. So I'm going to have to loosen this connection up just a little bit more. And then you're just going to slip that underneath that bolt. So great. That's all connected. Take your cover, put it back on, close your front trunk, and you are done. So in regard to the application to connect to the Bluetooth battery monitor, in this case, because it's an Ansel device, it's the Ansel app. Once you have it installed on your iOS or Android device, you can connect it to the Bluetooth device. It is really simple. But here, once you're in the app, you can see a pretty straightforward homepage. So you have battery voltage, state of charge, and temperature. Temperature doesn't really matter. We can just know that from the car or whatever, just feeling the air outside. It's not really a critical number to know. So I don't really know why they have it, but it's there. State of charge is something I really wouldn't judge the health of my battery by, because there's different chemistries of batteries. There's sealed lead acid, AGM, lithium ion. I don't think this app is capable of knowing what type of battery you have. So knowing it's 0% voltage and it's 100% voltage is kind of impossible. I may be wrong there, but I don't personally trust the SOC number. What I go off of is just the raw voltage value. Right now you can see it's 14.68 volts. The car is powered on and is charging the 12 volt. So if it were not powered on and in a resting state, it'd be between 12 and 13 or so. But you have the graph down below, voltage over time. If you click the little enlarge buttons on the side, you will then get a larger graph, and you can choose from state of charge, temperature, or voltage, and you can choose 1, 3, or 5 days. Find car and trips. I don't know if that's using your GPS from your phone when it's with you in the car. I don't really care about that for the purpose of what we need it for. The only other thing we're going to look at here is settings. So you can have a daily power notification. I guess when it connects to the device when you're in the car, it'll give you an update on what the battery voltage is. Abnormal cranking notification. I don't really know what that is, but it's not really pertinent because we're not turning over a gas engine, so not worried about that. Low voltage alarm. That could be useful. So if you get in your car and you do have a low voltage, it will alert you through the app. So right now it's set for 12.2 volts, which I would say is a pretty good number. I think that's the default that it came with. Power alarm, I'm not really sure what exactly this is. If you guys want to play with it, you're more than welcome to. You can export data, I guess, into a, let's see, probably a CSV. Yeah, it looks like a CSV. You can choose your units. You can also install firmware updates on the device if there are any, but there don't appear to be any right now. And yeah, that's about it. Now, if you don't want to spend the $20 or so on the Ansel battery monitor, you could install a free app on your iOS device, Android, I'm sorry. But on iOS, you can install Better Blue, which is an alternative to my Hyundai. And from within that app, you can see your 12-volt battery voltage. So that's a free option. It's not going to give you any alarms or anything, but you can just open it up and check and see what your battery voltage is if you're interested. So yeah, I will have links in the description to the Ansel battery monitor if you're interested in purchasing it. It's about $25. So anyway, guys, if you liked today's video, give it a thumbs up. Check out my store at ioniqguy.com for all sorts of accessories for your Hyundai, Kia, or Genesis EV. Consider becoming a channel member for as little as 99 cents per month. For $3 per month, you can get a 10% discount to my store, as well as early access to all of my videos before wide release. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, everybody.